What's up? It's China the Old Soul, and today we got something a little bit different. I know you're used to artists, and last time we had a fashion designer, but today I got one of my line sisters, and she has a blog, and we're gonna get into it. Let them know who you are.
Hey everybody, my name's Kandi Robinson. I have a blog that's been out for the past year called APieceofKandi. Um, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, currently living in East Chicago, Indiana. Um, I'm a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Um, I have a beautiful daughter named Aja Smith. She's 1 year old, and I have a loving boyfriend, also the father of our beautiful daughter, Denzel Smith.
Period. So as you already know, I got my sister girl in the building, my line sister, and we're gonna talk about her blog. Kandi, let us know a little bit more about you.
My blog or me
We
personally?
want to know you personally first, sis, then we'll get into the content.
Um, well, like I said, it's not really when it comes to just describe me, I'm just the person who's enjoying life, enjoying the journey, and writing about it along the way. Um, like I said earlier, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Aja Smith. I've been currently have been a stay-at-home mom with her. Thankful for that. Thankful to be in that position because I get to witness so many milestones with her. She really brings out that child in me that I've always wanted. So just to be a mother with her and just to witness her in every aspect has really been able to bring out a lot in me. This past year, I've really just been creating myself. I've been doing what I've wanted to do for the longest, tapping into my spiritual side, um, just being able to find out who Kandi really is and not the product of what everybody else wanted me to be.
Yes, I love that. And shout out to my niece. She is so adorable.
Thank you.
So now we're going to get into the questions. So why blogging out of all the outlets or art forms that you could choose?
Okay, so if you know me deep down personally, I'm not a talker. I don't do too much talking. When it comes to conversations, I'm usually the one, I'll just sit back and observe. When me and my boyfriend first started dating, what we got into was he's a talker, and me, I could listen to you all day, but I don't say much unless you ask me to. And then growing up as well, I really didn't have a healthy outlet. So like I never really had a good relationship with my mom. So I will always just write stuff down. Like I had a diary since I was 10 years old. I wrote in there every night up until this time. I'm 24 years old now and I still write in my journal as much as possible. I definitely fell off after having a daughter and everything, but I make sure that's one of my top priorities. And because I really didn't have a safe outlet growing up, my journal was me talking to God. So I always started off with like, dear God, this happened today. I went through this today. This person made me upset. I hate it here. I love it here. I had a good day. I had a bad day. And that was really my outlet. Like I carried that up until this very point. Even in college, that's all I wanted to do was write. I've written papers for people. I did a blog when I was at Cookman, when I was a student at Cookman. I had a blog for the School of Religion. I just really enjoy writing, and people would always tell me, "Candy, you have a gift." I really didn't pursue it until a few years ago. As great as writing sounded, I had difficulty speaking my true emotions. Like I said, in my relationship with my boyfriend, it was kind of hard to me to express myself verbally because I really didn't do that a lot growing up. I'm better at it now, thankfully, but it did hinder me in some ways, but it wasn't until a few years ago when I was going through some things and I just told myself I just want to share my story. Not share it in a way as to get revenge or make people feel a type of way, but I really just want to express myself because I wanted other people to let them know like y'all are not alone. Y'all are not going through this by yourself. And that's when I came up with my blog. I said, I would love a blog because it's short, it's simple. I'm not writing 12-page papers. I'm just writing a piece, and the blog doesn't have to be 30 pages long. It could be anywhere from 5 sentences to 5 paragraphs if you want it, and longer than that. And it wasn't until I think it was my junior year in college when I was with a friend at the park. We were hanging out, and that's when I came up with the name. I said, "Yo, a piece of candy," because my name is Candy, and these are going to be blog pieces. And I just came up with all that, and it actually took me a year to get my website going. Like, I paid for the website, and it just sat there for a year. I didn't touch it. I didn't update it. I didn't do anything really because of fear. Like, I was just scared of letting myself out because I've never done that in my life. Still, when I post to this day, I'll post something and I'll put my phone down for the first hour because I'm scared of what people are going to say, even though it's always great reviews, thankfully. But I'm always just that part of just putting myself out to the world is always a bit uh, nerve wracking at times because, like I said, I've always been a closed person. Still am a very private person, but just putting myself out there, it also feels really great and feels like I'm releasing a lot as well and helping other people. And I know that I am. But I'm grateful for where I'm at. But that's really how I started writing. I've always been a writer. Always been a writer. I've just made it into a lifelong journey now.
Okay, giving me very much Moesha for Christ and motivation. I love it. So, how would you describe being a blogger in 3 words?
Oh wow. Being a blogger in 3 words. That's a good question, sis. Um, Creating myself every day. I would just say that because when it comes to blogging, I'm literally creating myself every day. When I write stuff down, I just feel like a part of me has just become bigger because I wrote it down on paper. And when I upload it, I just feel like I just made a bigger piece of myself. Um, and as the time progresses with me being a blogger, I just feel like every day, Candy, you are really becoming more of yourself. You're really creating yourself into who you envision yourself to be. You're not finding yourself because you are right here all the time. You're just letting it out and you're creating art. So I would say creating myself every day.
That's lit. And I'm all about creation. I love creativity. I love creating content as well. And that's a form of content. So, speaking about creating content, how is your creative process? How do you make your blogs?
Oh, sis, it's a roller coaster. I'm not gonna lie. Like this past month, well, I uploaded a piece Sunday, but for the past month, I could not find anything to write. I'm not sure. I was going through a lot mentally, and I just could not find myself to upload anything. Like I had to take myself off social media. I had to bring in a lot of spiritual practices within myself. I had to isolate because the creative process is difficult. It's a roller coaster. Some days, well, most days I'm writing every single day. I'm going over what I've written. I'm trying to see what am I going to upload? What do I feel like the world needs right now? Then some days or weeks, I can't think of anything to write. I feel like I can't create because there's just so much going on. Like I said, I am a mom of a 1 year old, and that can be a lot at times. Like I really can't write unless she's asleep or doing another activity, of course. But if she sees me, if like my daughter sees me writing, she's gonna want to come and write too. And I love that. I love that she wants to grab the pen and, create with me. But sometimes it's definitely difficult. But when it comes to uploading a piece, I always I have like 6 journals and they're full of my entries. Like I have my journals all the way back from high school. I always, since I write every day, I just go back and see what I feel needs to be released. And I go back into that, I edit it because I'm a poet at heart. When I write in my journal and I go back and look at it, I'm like, okay, King, you could really share this. So it's not necessarily okay. I'm gonna write something to upload. I write for myself and I go back and read it and I determine what to post then. So it can be a post from months ago that I've written. It could be a post that I've written last week. But every day I am going through my journals. It could be I've uploaded posts from back from high school. I've uploaded posts from when I went through suicidal thoughts years ago, and I uploaded because I'm like, this is what the world needs right now. So I'm thankful that I get to take a step back sometimes and reflect on where I've been and get to help people who are going through that situation now.
Did you enjoy writing as a child? Why? And what form of writing did you like? Poetries, essays, freestyle?
I always enjoyed writing as a child. Like I said, that was my outlet. That was my go-to. Me writing was me talking to God, um, or talking to myself. And like I said, I felt like I never had a safe outlet in the house. Like my mom and my sisters, I felt like could never express myself, so I always went to writing. So I absolutely enjoyed it, and I always put my words into poetry. I don't. It always came together. It was. I don't know who inspired me. I did love Maya Angelou at one point. Like she had a really strong hold on me. But it wasn't that I was necessarily inspired by anybody. It's just when I wrote, my words came together and it sounded like poetry. Like every time I wrote, still to this day. So I absolutely enjoy it. I love it. I crave it. When I have so much going through my mind still at 24 years old, I tell myself, Candy, you need to sit down and write. Like you feel anxiety trying to settle in, you feel sadness trying to come in, and I don't deny those emotions. Of course, I just observe them, and I just tell myself, just let it out, write it down. So I enjoy it. I don't think I could live without writing.
That is great because a lot of people as a child they just think of essays and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, when it came to essays, I don't
Hmm.
like essays. But when it comes to a
No,
play or a poem, I'll write it real quick and love
it
it.
depends what the essay is on. Like if you tell me to write an essay, I probably won't care for it. But if I'm just writing it for myself, that's a totally different story.
Yeah, I'm talking about the rules though. You gotta have this, you
Uh,
gotta have that.
yeah,
Like, no,
don't
that's
count
not
me
for
in.
me.
Do
So
not
what
count me
is your
in.
favorite part about writing?
Ooh. My favorite part about writing is going back and reading it. Um, Only because I get to see how I really felt in that moment. Because I feel like I always write when I'm high off emotion. That's why I usually write at nighttime, because I get to reflect on the day and all that I've experienced that day. Like tonight, I'm looking forward to writing when Audrey goes to sleep, when we finish cooking dinner, all that good stuff. Um, Going back and reading what I wrote the day before, or a few weeks ago, or months ago, or years ago, going back and seeing where I was in that moment, how I felt in that moment, and I get to reflect and see if I'm still feel that way. I get to reflect and see how much I've grown in that during that time and transition into now. I get to feel that this is what the world needs. So always going back and reading what I wrote and like, Candy, you are such a wise and mature and spiritual person. Like I'm so proud of you and all that you've gone through and continue to go through. Like I'm so grateful that I get to reflect on all the good times of this journey that I'm on.
Okay, and I know that was one of my questions. You kind of answered it. You was like, you don't really know anybody that inspired you, but are there any blogs or any authors that you really admire?
There's not necessarily well, I will say I love Mariah's blog. She's a student at Cookman. I believe she graduates Saturday. I'm not sure, but I love reading her blogs. But I'm not. I don't have a favorite blogger. Like if you go on my blog, you can see that I follow thousands of people. I've never had a favorite when it comes to songs, books, artists. I've never had a favorite, and I'm a Libra, so I'm a really indecisive person.
Yes.
I can't. If you tell me to choose my favorite place, I can't give it to you. I really can't. I'm a jack of all trades. I really see the good in everything and see the benefit in everything. I love everyone's writing. Dr. Nicole Lipiera, I think her last name is. She's Italian, so I get confused saying her last name. But I love listening to her podcast. I have her book on how to do the work. It just basically talks about healing and how to heal from trauma from when you were younger up into adulthood. How to just bring peace into your body, into your everyday life. So articles like that, stories like that, listening to her podcast of just truly learning how to do the work, how to be yourself to the fullest, is really inspiring me in my writing because even when it, well, like I said, I write when I'm high off emotion. Even when it comes to like me being upset, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm an upset. I'm really upset. Let me put my anger out on this paper. I don't look at anger as a bad thing. I just look at something like I need to observe this. Why am I feeling this way? What is causing this? Why am I upset at this? Or like if I'm happy, like I have a lot of great moods and I'm grateful for that. I've asked myself, what is making me happy? Why is it making me happy? Like why do I feel this way? So just to hear her conversations and tune into her writings, it just helps me become a better person. So when me actually doing the work, it just helps my writing as well. I don't write as an angry person. I don't write as a person who I don't write as somebody who deems my emotions as bad because I don't believe in good or bad emotions. Acting often can be one thing, but I believe that since I view all my emotions as just information and not something to deem as unnecessary or evil, it really helps with my writing and she helps me reflect on what I'm feeling. So that helps with the entire process. So shout out to her.
Yes, definitely get into it. So, as far as healing, I hear you talk about that a lot. And then we're going to get into that post on the next segment. I can't wait. How do you think that writing will help somebody that's hurting or feeling sad or depressed? How much do you think that will help them?
It'll help them as much as they want to. Like I said, if they read a piece, my number one thing about writing, I just love that every time I post, so I'm always gonna get a few messages on how that helped somebody. Sis, I really needed that. I didn't know how to put my words together. I didn't know how to put my feelings and my thoughts together. So reading that on paper or reading that on the internet in words that you put so well together, it just helped me understand like I'm not alone in this. Um, this is just the beginning. Like I said, it can only help them as much as they want to because there could be people that message me and like, sis, that was a beautiful piece. I cried by reading it. And the next day they just going about their day. Like, or somebody could read my piece and, hey, sis, I love that so much. Can you give me tips on how did you go through this? And how did you get through this? And where are you today? So it helps as much as they wanted to help them. Like I can only do so much. Same like when I was talking about Dr. Nicole. I read her books all the time. I listen to her podcasts all the time, but it can only do so much. Like I have to put that work in. It's as simple as reading a self-help book or like a lot of it's as simple as reading the Bible. I can read the Bible all day, every day, but if I don't necessarily put the work in and try to understand myself on a deeper level, that Bible can only do so much. It can only provide inspiration if I don't actually put the work in. So it helps them as much as they want to help them. It helps as much as they want to help themselves.
Yes, most definitely. You are in charge of you. So if you want your true healing, you have to put that there. And I know you like, keep talking, keep letting us know. But we are about to go into a commercial break so you can see a wonderful Black business. And we'll be back and talk a little bit more about a piece of candy. Jasmine Stevens. I am the CEO and founder of Shantae's Lush. Shantae's Lush is an organic, vegan, and cruelty-free cosmetic line that provides girls with everyday beauty that they need for themselves. We range from products such as lip scrubs, body scrubs, soaps, anything you name it. Check us out at shantae'slush.com and make sure you guys tune into the rest of her podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Hey there, we are back like we never left. And now you're going to get to know more about a piece of candy. So, Candy, let us know how and when a piece of candy was born.
Oh, um, it was my junior year, second semester at Cookman. Um, I was talking to our line sister, Jameer Holt. We was venting
Wow.
to each other. That's my girl. That's that we've been riding since freshman year. And I was just telling her like it's just so much I want to say. And she was like, you love writing and you love you real good with your words. Every time I talk to you, you always saying some really poetic stuff. And we were just talking. I was like, I think I want to write a blog. Like, I wanted to be a mystery writer at first. I didn't want anybody to know who I was, but that was going to be difficult because I was such a private person. Like, I just don't know how to really put myself out there too well. But I just told myself that would be kind of hard because how would I gain my audience and how would I put myself out? How would I share myself if I'm if nobody knows who I am? Um, and that's when Jameer came with the idea, like, you really should just start blogging. You know you're really good with your words. And I said, I really would. I should start blogging because I feel like that's just perfect for me. I've been journaling so long and so well. I feel like it's time to do that. But it wasn't until a year later, which was actually when we graduated during the pandemic. That's when our profile, Ajalan, she's actually the one who created my logo. And
Wow. And
she
that's
actually
nice,
because
Besh.
she wanted to practice with her Photoshop and stuff. So I was like, you can create my logo. And I knew AJ since freshman year as well. So she created that. And it wasn't until that was in March. But then, I had a baby. My sister passed away, pandemic. I had to move. It was so much going on. So I actually didn't launch my website until November last year. Last month made a year officially that I've had my website, but it's definitely taken a long time, taken a lot of thought. Definitely, I've had a lot of moments where I had to just sit it down for a moment because of um, the things that I've had to go through. Um, but it wasn't until I had my name sophomore year, had that set in stone. I had my website, I was paying $95 a year, and I still was not doing anything with it because of fear. But last year, November, I finally said, Denzel actually pushed me. He's like, you've been talking about this for forever. And we've been dating since junior year. He said, you've been talking about this forever. Like, it's really time to put it out there. And I did it. I was so nervous. I remember making the first post to everybody. I said, okay, I'm officially launching my website, my blog. I put my phone down for like 5 hours because I was literally shaking. I said, y'all, like, people know I have a blog. People are my first piece was on there. I was really nervous for some reason. And I felt really sick that day as well. I think it was the day after Halloween. And I was just so scared. I didn't want to pick up my phone. But when I finally did, I'm like, people are actually looking forward to this. Like, people are loving the post that I made so far. I was receiving a lot of feedback from people back home. My mom, I still don't know how she found out that I had the website because she don't follow me on Instagram. I didn't post it on Facebook because I'm not really on there, but somehow she found out. She said she was proud of me. My sisters, people I didn't even know was saying they were excited about it, and I was just so grateful for it. But it definitely takes some time. It had to sit and marinate, but it's here now, and I'm never looking back.
Okay, and that's just how you do it. You got to just act on fear. I learned that because I've been scared a lot of times, even with Chai Talk. I was scared, but I was like, I just got to go for it and make it happen.
You're really doing a great job, sis.
Thank you. So, a piece of candy, that is your title. Break that down for us. Why can't we have a whole? Why we gotta have a piece?
Because so my name is Candy. It's a piece of candy, Kandi, of course. And when I was sitting and talking about the blog, I remember telling myself it would be pieces because I'm uploading. At first, when I made the blog, my friend was trying to give me a suggestion like you can put your website like big pieces of candy, and in each candy, when you click on it, a blog will open. I love my name. Don't get me wrong. Can't nobody tell me nothing about it. But I'm not putting no candy on my blog. I'm 24 years old now. I just don't see myself doing that. I wanted something more elegant, more attracting to people my age. A lot of people are not going to just see candy and want to explore that website. Not at our big age, you know. At least I don't think. So I told myself it could just be a piece, like um, a piece, a post. Instead of saying, "Hey, new blog post," I just say, "Hey, everybody, we have a new piece." And a piece of candy, that clicks. Like everybody, oh, a piece of candy, that's cool. Your name Candy, like it's really catchy. Like I was feeling really good when I had created that name. It was probably like 10 o'clock at night when I was outside talking to my friend, and it dawned on me it's like a piece of candy because I think I was trying to figure out a name for like 3, 4 months, but I couldn't figure out nothing. Like I was trying to make up stuff like Candy's blog, but that's just so boring. Like nobody's Candy's blog, and they might, but it wasn't doing enough for me personally. I was thinking of sweets by Candy, and I was like, that just don't make sense. I was
That
thinking
sound
of
like
taking my
food.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like people think I'm probably gonna do a cooking channel, and so I just couldn't think of anything until that night we were talking, and it just literally hit me. I was like a piece of candy because my posts would be my pieces, and it came together so well. Came together so well. Like I'm happy that's mine.
Yes, it's something you can definitely say is yours. There's a lot of candies out there, but let them know it's
Yeah,
this candy. So
it's my piece.
speaking of that, yes, who is your target audience? Who do you want to attract?
My target audience is really generational Z and millennials, but I'm just been so grateful and so blessed that it has reached all ages. Like I have had 60-year-olds reach out to me and say, "You don't know how well that's done for me." Like my website really went up when I had found the strength in myself to upload a piece about my sister and her passing and how I had to deal with that death. She passed when I was 7 months pregnant, and that was crazy. Like that was probably the craziest time of my life. And I finally found the strength a few months ago to upload something because I really never said nothing. Like I uploaded a picture about her, and not saying I have to express myself on the internet, but because I'm really not comfortable with that in many ways, but I never really expressed myself in any way. I felt like I couldn't really grieve because I was pregnant and I didn't want to, hurt the baby or anything. But I finally found the strength to upload that piece, and it just reached, and I put it on Facebook. I never post on Facebook, but some told me to do it. And when I put it on Facebook, it just reached, it went across the world for some reason. Like people were messaging me like 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, I promise you, 50-year-olds, 12-year-olds. I don't know how they got a Facebook, but they were messaging me saying, you are helping me so much. Like I just lost my grandfather a few months ago and I didn't know how to deal with that. You just gave me a different insight on how death is, and they saw my other pieces because of that post. And you're such a beautiful writer. Keep going. A random man had cashed at me, Venmo me like $300, just saying,
Okay.
keep up the good work. He had to be like a 30-year-old. He was just like, keep up the good work. You're just doing so amazing. And I'm just grateful. Like I wanted to reach that it was always like I want the target audience to be around my age, generational Z and millennials. But thankfully it has really went across the globe. Like when I look at I get to keep up with the stats and stuff and the subscribers, and I should see it's all age groups, and I'm just really so thankful for that.
Yes, and you out there, you better
Yes.
read, watch, however you envision it, because some people read it and then they imagine it. So however you
Mhm.
see it, make sure you check out A Piece of Candy. And back on the topic of A Piece of Candy, what is the goal/objective of your blog?
Um, I just every time I upload a piece, I always tell myself my goal for this piece or my site overall is for people to see the beauty of life, the joys and sorrows, and take that all in. And this is life. Like we're gonna grow through some stuff. We're gonna have some highs. We're gonna have some lows. Like when you look at my blog, it's a lot of happy and sad moments in there. Like I have a blog that talks about the joy of motherhood, and then I have a blog that's talking about suicidal thoughts that I used to struggle with. My goal is for people just to relate and let them know like you're not alone. You are not alone in any of this. We all feel, we're all human. We have those emotions. Um, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to continue to go through this. That's the beauty of life. When you look at life as it is and not good and bad, just um, beauty as a whole, you can take that and my um, my old pastor back home always used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I want people to take what they're going through and embrace it. Really embrace it because that's the beauty of life. We get to experience it all as humans. So I want them to be able to see that and feel that in my writing and relate to it. Like I've been through this too. I went through this too. Like I had this moment too. And you just let me know I'm not alone. Like that's how beautiful life is. We get to share it together. We get to experience it in our own ways, and we continue to flourish with that. So I want people just to look at it, um, and be able to feel it in every unique way that they can.
Yes, I love it. It's just so calm and spiritual, but that's how my sister is. So speaking of your blog, which I love it, I read it, and my favorite piece was the last piece you did. It's
Thank
just I
you.
like, trying to
That
just
was one of my favorites too.
yes. I was
That's
just
one of
about
my
to ask
favorites.
you which one is your favorite, and you just answered my question. Why?
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, one. Oh, okay.
But my favorite piece, um, I would say the one about my sister. And then my most favorite actually, I wrote it 2 years ago. That was like my third post I made. 10:43 p.m. It's just talking about my first heartbreak. I said it in such a
Oh,
beautiful way. Said it in such a beautiful way, but that's actually my favorite piece because I remember that moment writing. Like I was literally crying while writing it down. And I had stopped writing because I had filled like 3 pages and I said my hand not hurting or anything. I'm just writing. And I just remember looking back on it the next day and I said, this is such a beautiful and yet vulnerable piece. And I see vulnerability as strength. And I've never been that vulnerable on a piece of paper before. I think that was my first time in a long time. Like I really said, I always say how I feel, but I really put it into some amazing words. So that's one of my favorites. The one about my sister, definitely my favorite because I've seen how much I've grown. I don't see death as the ending. I just see it as a transition. Like it's not the end. I see and feel my sister. I feel my sister every single day. Like I know she's here. I know she's around. Like her body is gone, but her soul lives on forever. So that I see death as such a beautiful thing now. But if that would have happened 5 years ago, that would have took me out. So I just love to go back on my pieces and just see how much I've grown. Like, wow, I really don't see like definitely in the moment with my sister when it happened, it was crazy. Like my whole world stopped. That that was my little sister. Like she was born after me. And that definitely shook my world. That was during COVID and I was still pregnant and stuff. And it was very unexpected, of course. And to be able to finally write about it, and that's when I stopped writing after she passed away. I think the only thing I wrote in that journal with that day was like my sister died. And I didn't write for like the next 4 months because I had Aja and a lot happened. But um when I finally was able to write about her, I was happy that I allowed myself to finally grieve, allow myself to go through all those beautiful emotions that we can experience as humans, and to not see her as gone, because I still feel her. She gives me signs that she here. I still have beautiful conversations with her in spirit. I know that she's proud of us and all that we're doing, my family and all that. So I'm happy to see the growth and the beauty in that. Because, like I said, if that happened a few years ago, I would have just felt so negative. Like I would have questioned, like, why did this have to happen? Like, why me? Why now? And of course, I did have those in the peak of the moment, of course. But when I was able to just take a step back and allow myself to just feel everything I wanted to feel and reflect on that, I saw it as a beautiful thing to happen because death is a part of life, and to be able to just write about it and see it as something that we all will go through, um, that really saved me in a way. It really did.
yes, and death is not easy. I lost many
It's not.
family members in college,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And thanks to God, I know that they're my guardian angels and they're watching over me.
Hmm.
And we want to know, when do you usually post? Is it something random like, okay, today I'm going to post, or do you schedule yourself and say, all right, on this date at this time, I'm going to post?
I schedule my posts. I do them bi-weekly, so because that's a lot of writing that takes place. I mean, I don't want to just throw stuff out there, but I do them bi-weekly every Sunday in the afternoon, usually 2 or 3 o'clock. I know the time is different from where most of my target audience is. So I always try to do 2 or 3 o'clock here, but I definitely do biweekly. Like I did have to take that break from the internet and everything because I just couldn't find myself to write as well and as much as I wanted to. But I always do it biweekly in the afternoon because a lot of my audience too. I don't know if people in church. I don't know if people at brunch getting lit. I don't know what they got going on in Sunday morning, but I always tell myself, like that, and Denzel helped me come up with that time. Like 2 or 3 o'clock is a time where everybody should be settling in. Your Sunday kind of ends pretty early if you're not a student, but your Sunday feels like by 5 o'clock, everybody really settling down, like we chilling. Um, I feel like Sunday mornings are busy for a lot of people. If not, that's great, but I try to do it around that time when everybody is, when I think everybody is getting in from their morning activity. So during the afternoon on Sundays bi-weekly, my goal is by next year to be posting every single Sunday.
Okay. Yes, you're gonna speak it into existence.
That I wanted to feel like a daily read, like a daily paper or weekly paper. Like that's why I do it on Sundays too, because people love the Sunday paper. So Sundays is just perfect.
Okay, Sunday. So let us know your website where we can follow you on IG, as well as if A Piece of Candy has an IG or Facebook.
Okay. You can follow me on Instagram at candy.x, KANDI.x. It's just my personal page. My website is in that. It's in my bio as well. Just type in APieceofKandi.com. You'll probably see my Twitter pop up as well. My Twitter is A Piece of Candy, at A Piece of Candy. You'll see my bio link you'll see my website link in my bio as well for those websites, as well as Facebook. You can just follow me, Candy Robinson.
Okay. So getting to the end of our segment, what advice would you give to people that would like to be bloggers or are scared like you were?
um my advice to people, don't let fear get in the way of what you really want to do, because that was my number one issue. That's why I created my website so early, but didn't post anything till almost a year and a half later because I let fear kick in and get in the way. I was scared what people were going to say. I was scared people were going to think. I was scared that family thought I was going to just put too much of myself out there because, in the household that I grew up in, a lot of Black households, we've always taught, what goes on in the house just stays in the house. And I'm not graphic with my words. Like I put my words together in a sweet and subtle way. It's not like it's when you read my stuff, it's not like you're gonna read a for Color Girls paper or anything or script. It's not crazy like that, but it's definitely poetic and relaxing and reassuring in a way. I do add my filter to it because I know I have a major audience, but don't let fear get in the way. That's my number one thing. Do it. It doesn't have to be excellent. If there's something you want to do for the rest of your life, it doesn't have to be. Don't don't be so hard on yourself. Don't. It does not have to be perfect. Whatever is yours should be perfect to you, anyways. But don't let fear kick in. Um, don't let those negative thoughts kick in. If they do kick in, just observe them. Don't fall into them. Just see how you feel and ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And dig deep into that. And when you work and reflect on that, just push yourself to continue to be great.
And on that note, we're going to go to another commercial break. You got to support these Black businesses come through. I'm not going to give you no crazy Black businesses. They're going to come through with the come through. So make sure you watch this commercial and we will be back with the game.
Hi, my name is Mashoni Brown, and my business is Makeup by Shoni. I'm a makeup artist. I started doing makeup back in 2016 when I was a senior in high school, and I continued to grow my business all throughout my years in college and gain experience and more clientele. The reason why I started doing makeup is because I just love to make other women feel beautiful. When I'm done with their face, it brightens up my day. And it brightens up their day because they just come out looking amazing. So follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is Makeup by Shoni. and you can book through there.
And we are back. You know, I love to play games. If you've been watching Chai Talk, you know I play games all the time. And I'm going to get my sister girl right with this or that writer's edition. She's going to tell me if she prefer this or that and why. So let's get into it. You already know if you see the iPad, what time it is. So the first one is handwriting or typing and why.
Ooh. I like handwriting better because when it comes to typing, I hate having the backspace. With writing, I could just scribble it out. I feel like when I'm writing, when I'm typing on the computer, I won't just backspace it. Well, I'll backspace it all instead of just going to that exact word to erase it. I'll just backspace the whole thing, even if it's an entire 2 sentences. I'll just backspace it. When it comes to writing, I feel like I could just, pause and reflect and just continue writing as much as I want to. Typing gets tiring. I don't really like looking at screens too much, not even my phone. And I'm really sensitive to light as well. Like, I don't like really looking at light all the time because it bothers me. But writing, I could just pick up the journal whenever I want to and just write as much as I want. Typing, I just feel like I got to position myself in a way. And I'm not really for that all the time.
Okay, so essay or poetry?
I like both. I guess I would do poetry. Poetry because I find myself to be naturally poetic. Um, and sometimes I don't have too much to say. Even if it's just a few words, you can put that in a nice poem. When it comes to essay, you really have to do an essay. So it'll definitely be poetry, sis.
Okay, so do you like to plan it out or freestyle?
Freestyle always. I never plan what I'm about to write. Like people always ask, "Oh, what you gonna write about next? What you gonna post next? You should write about this." It's just whatever I feel in that moment or whatever I feel like posting in that moment. But I've never opened my journal and say, okay, I'm gonna write about happiness today or I'm gonna write about forgiveness today. It's just whatever I feel in that moment, I'm gonna write it down. Even if it's in the middle of the night. Like I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes and I just write down what I feel. It's never anything specific.
Period. You gotta let it flow. It's
Yeah.
always lit if you
Yeah.
know how to do it, because some people don't know how to do it. Some people need planning, but if you
I
know
did
how
a
to do
lot
it,
of planning in school and right now I just want to go with the flow.
yes, be free. So
Yeah.
next up, fiction or nonfiction?
I really, I like fiction. I really love both. That is kind of tough, but if I had to choose, I like fiction because I like tapping out into my reality sometimes. Like when I get to read a novel or anything, I get to go into another world. I get to exit. I feel like I'm always exiting where I'm at now and I get to just dive into an imaginary world and that's beautiful. I just love being able to just tap out of reality for a moment. So reading fiction books really just takes me to a different place. It gives my mind a break and it makes reading a joy.
Yes, and sometimes you need that break because life just
Mhm.
keep going crazy, crazy.
Seriously.
So next up, do you like to write in silence or with music?
That is a good question. It really can I say both? Because I
I'm
have
gonna
a
let you go
reason for
crazy.
both.
Go crazy.
I have I have a reason for both. Like I really love music because music is just so powerful. It's so powerful. Sometimes it gives me that feeling that I need to continue my writing. And then at the same time, um, like I'm not gonna listen to trap music or anything while I'm writing. Like I listen to some Motown or gospel or some Adele or country. Like I like that sweet sound when I'm listening to music. When I'm writing. And I also like silence. Like I always write at nighttime. I'll write in the morning sometimes if I have to, but I like writing at nighttime because it's like the world is silent. Everybody has stopped doing what they're doing. Like when was writing at nighttime and at Cookman, I didn't have to hear people closing unless it was like a sneaky link or something. I didn't have to hear a lot of doors in the hall opening and closing. I didn't have to hear a lot of screaming, running. My roommate going back and forth. Everything was silent. My roommate was asleep. I had my little lamp on, I didn't hear too much noise going out in the hallway. Like my everything was settled, so my mind was settled enough to write. So I love writing in silence just as well, just as much as I love writing with music.
Okay. So, do you like it serious or humorous?
Um, serious, serious. Only because when I write, I am pretty serious. Um, I'm not trying to sound like a, like a sad person or anything, but there's not too many humorous moments. I have a lot of good moments, don't get me wrong. Like I always write something good in my journal, but I'm not usually a writer like, oh, I can write this. Oh, when I read Candy's piece, I'm gonna get a good laugh out of this. You're not gonna get that when you listen, when you read my stuff. You're gonna have to feel a lot. You're gonna have to reflect on a lot. When you read my piece, I want you to be like, wow, like Candy just says some real stuff. Like you're not, if you want to get a laugh, turn on the TV because you're not gonna get it from me. So I'm pretty serious when it comes to my writing because it's how I
Okay.
really feel.
Period. Just get to
Yeah.
the point. So, do you like motivation or information? Just getting straight to the point, let them know what it is and what it ain't.
Um, I like motivation. Uh, I like motivation because we all need it. We all need it. It's essential. It's important, and being able to feel what somebody else is going through or what somebody else is experiencing, might I say, that's enough motivation itself. Like if you watch Michelle Obama or somebody give a nice speech and she talked about how she was that little girl who grew up in Chicago in a small apartment, and you're like, dang, I went through that. Like that just motivated me because here you are, you the first lady, was the first lady of the United States, and you had that same story that I had when I was a little girl or a little boy. So I can be as great as I want to be because you are as great as you want to be. So I like motivational stories because we all need it. We really information is great. Motivation gives you that kick that you need.
Yes, it gives you the fire to let that
hmm
information
We
out.
all need it. No shame in it. We all need it. We all need a little motivation.
Yes, and I love me some motivation. I got to get back into my motivation on Mondays, but we're going to get back into it. So, do you prefer controversial, starting up the pot, or non controversial? Trying to be united, trying to be peaceful.
That's really tough. That's tough. I feel like I'm both, but if I had to, I would say non-controversial only because like I'm definitely like, let's get this started. If I gotta put myself in that place, I will. Like if we gotta turn up the heat and stir the pot a little more, I will definitely do that. But because I'm such a balanced person, I'm a really balanced person. I really don't um operate well in a lot of chaos. Like it's too much for me. Me personally, like I have to take a step back. Even if it's too much going on the internet. Like example, like the day Kobe passed away, I had to get off the
Oh,
internet. I'm like, this is
I was so
too
sad.
much. It was too much.
No
I just
lie.
felt everybody's emotions was just weighing on me. I said, I gotta get away from this. Like, but I'm all for like, if we need to burn down the building, burn down that building. Let's do what we gotta do. But me personally, I'm not somebody who likes to stir up the pot too much only because it's overwhelming for myself. I
Okay.
do see the benefits in both sides. I'm not against either or at all. But for me personally, non-controversial.
Okay, let's go crazy. And the last section of our game, self-review or peer review?
Mm, I don't really do well with constructive criticism at all, even if it's beneficial. Um, I think I'll do self-review. Um, I think I'm in a really good place enough to allow that to happen. I'm not against peer review, of course, at all. But for me personally, I would just do self review. I feel like it's more benefits in that with a person like me. I think I'm emotionally mature enough for a self review.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what last encouraging words would you like to give to the audience?
Um, my last few encouraging words that I would give to everybody: be yourself, not who everybody told you who you should be, not who you think you should be, not who mommy and daddy told you who you should be. Be yourself. Do what you want. Stop living your life for anybody else, because the only person who has to deal with the consequences and going to sleep at night and waking up in the morning is you. So just do it for yourself, because this is your life. And if you don't live your life to the fullest, you have to experience this again in some way, shape, or form until you know how to be yourself to the fullest. So do what you want. Don't be ashamed of doing what you want. Don't be afraid of doing what you want. Um, just make that promise to yourself and love yourself enough to do all that you really want to do.
Period. She my Libra sister right now slash line sister. She just came through with the came through. So I'm gonna just
Mhm.
end it with this. Love you. See you next on the next episode of Chai Talk.